Page 16, Prelude. They're talking here about doing the scales in contrary motion. You see, when you do a scale with the hands going the same direction, that's parallel. That's what we've been doing. Okay, parallel, they're going the same. But when they're going opposite, that's contrary. Some scales are easy to do in contrary and some are not. I don't use contrary in my scale videos until you get to the advanced portion, because in my mind, parallel is more important right now. If you can do parallel, you can do contrary when the time needs it. However, they're doing it, so let's talk about this. C major is an easy one to do because the hands just naturally want to mirror each other. They just do it automatically. And C major, you're doing that. You're using the same fingers on each hand at the same time, and you're going just the same motion. So let's just say, start on C, both hands on C, here, and then second, here, thumbs come down, both of them together. You're going in opposite directions automatically. It's easier if you come up here. C major is easy because they're all white notes. G major is the same fingering, but the black notes are not the same. Here, now I've got here, so I got a black note. That's not. But the fingers are the same. And now I got this. So you got to watch out on that. Well, if you're accustomed to playing the G major scale, you'll just play those black keys when you need to. It'll just happen. You don't have to go that fast. The point is, you'll just do it because you're used to playing G major scale. D major has two, so you got F and C both. So it's here and here, but it's the same fingers. But again, once you get used to playing D major scale, then when you go contrary, you'll just play those black keys when they need to be. Here. Just happen because you're using the same fingers. You just got to figure out which black keys you're using. I don't consider this really important right now, but they're presented it, so I talked about it. As far as I'm concerned, you need to continue in the scale videos, one octave up and down for now, and keep them slow. Do the trill exercise, the accents, and the whole bit. Now let's talk Prelude. Prelude in 18th century style. Oh goody. So exactly what is a prelude? I mean, you can Google what a prelude is, but basically a prelude is just a piece of music that's kind of background music where it fills time. And it sounds like you're just making it up as you go. That's the whole idea. A lot of preludes back when Bach, they were made up. They just improvised. They just made up something as they went. So preludes typically will sound like they're just being improvised. However, let's see what we got. I look it over, it's a little over a page long. Now it does have repeat signs, but the music is a little over a page long. No sharps or flats in the key signature. We are in the key of C major. Make sure you're doing the C major scale. I think in this piece you're going to get all three scales because they use accidentals for the sharps, but as far as practicing the scales, do the C major scale for this piece. I have 4/4 time signature, and again, we got eighth notes going crazy. So right hand, let's see, make sure the fingering works for us. We're here, and it's one and. We come in on the and of one. 1 and 2 and 3, and that's just a scale. So if you can do the C major scale, you got that. And then third major, you just come down here. They want 1, 3. Let's talk technique just for a moment. Because on this, that's a third, an interval of a third. They're parallel. Here to here to here, they're parallel. And this is one of the more difficult things to do on piano. Parallel thirds. Here to here. To get them down at the same time. Should do them all. I let weight push the notes down. You can't tell it very well because it's a very small motion. But the weight pushes the notes down, and when I'm ready to do the next one, I'm going to raise the wrist just a little bit, and as I lower the wrist, I'm lowering the weight. Here, and as I lower the weight, I simply switch fingers. So the fingers are now on different, or the weight is on different fingers. Here to here. And going up. Do it in both hands. very slowly. Then make sure that notes go down at the same time. Then ready, next one. Then the next one. Then the next one. You go as slow as you gotta go. And you just do this a little bit every day. And it gradually, over long periods of time, you know, lifetimes or whatever, it gets better. And that's what we're doing here on the third and fourth measure. And then for top page 17, you come up here, it's G major scale. 1 and 2. And then come down. Now we got the thirds again. It's 1, 2. Again, it's that type thing. If you practice in that, you get this. Now going from this top of page 17, first line, last two measures. Here, going to the next measure, you have to lift up because you got to play that note twice. Otherwise, I'd connect it. And then you come down here and just rotate the hand here on the second line. Thumb comes down. Up a. Get the idea. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Because I'm just walking on it. I'm just transferring weight from finger to finger is all I'm doing. I'm not holding the hand still and trying to use the fingers. I really don't recommend it. Not on these pianos. And then the fourth line down, this is a D major scale. 1 and 2. They don't need the natural sign in the next measure. It's a natural anyway, but as long as you play a C natural. Then come down, fourth finger. Cross over. Yeah. Last line, you're up here. 1 and 2. Here, and then reach up an octave. Scale going up. Okay, left hand, let's see what it's doing. Start out with a C chord, then come up here to the octave. 1 and 2. Okay, top of page 17, a G chord, and then reach up G chord. Now the end of the line, this is the first line on page 17. The end of the line, you're here. During the rest, come up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Fourth line down, it's a D chord. And then a 5/7 chord for G major, and then G. Last line on page 17, 4 chord, the C major 4 chord. 5/7 chord, and then a C scale going down. Put the hands together, and it's this. So this is a quarter note. Here, lift it up when you play the D. And then quarter note, lift up. Whatever the finger is, I don't know. But go through and put the hands together, and then go back over it maybe a line or so at a time and get rid of the hesitations. No hesitations. And once the hesitations are gone, I think about the articulation. We have accent. Play it a little louder. Let the wrist claps a little bit here. Accent. Page 17 on the second line, you're going to connect this measure and then staccato. Short, flex the wrist here. On the fourth line down, accent and separate them just slightly. It's a way of interpreting accented notes. You don't have to do it. And some people don't do it. And you do it however your teacher tells you to. But on piano, all we can do is play a note a little louder when it's accented. We can't do a true accent. But it can help to bring out the accent just a little bit if we separate each note. Not short. No, just separate it. So their accent, boom, 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 like that. And then bum, bum, bum. Just kind of playing heavy here. As I said, it's interpretation and not everybody does it. But a lot of people do, and even bands and orchestra, the conductor will say, separate those notes when they're accented. Even though they can do accent notes, they'll still separate them a little bit. And then the dynamics. Well, loud is just going to be kind of both hands. That makes the accented notes very loud. Staccato. And I'm loud through all of this until the third line on page 17. Now you're soft. Both. Fourth line, you start sort of loud and go up to loud. And then the accented notes make them very loud. Yeah. So put in the dynamics, and after that I'll add in the speed. It says andante. Some people call andante slow. I don't agree with that. To me, andante is just a casual. It's like you're taking a stroll through the park or somewhere. You're just kind of walking. You're not going anywhere. You're taking your time. That's andante to me. And the eighth notes will slow it down a little bit because it's overall the feel of the piece. 1, 2. I wouldn't take it any faster than that. Now, at the bottom of page 17, you get the first and second ending. The first ending is the fourth line, the whole line. The repeat sign sends you back to the beginning to do the whole thing again. The second ending then is the last line. So when you do it the second time, make sure you skip the fourth line because you only do it once. And go on to the last line. Remember the natural accents? 1, 2, 3. Exaggerate them if you... It helps to keep the runs even when you can feel these natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. But just feel them, don't exaggerate. I mean, you can exaggerate them at first if you need to, but when you're playing it, you'll just feel them. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. Not going to do the dynamics, so we're not performing it. So no louds and softs, I'm just playing the notes. I will try and do the accents. I'll play them a little louder maybe. And we will do the repeats. So I'll give us 4 counts. And because eighth notes are everywhere, we got to go super slow. I put the metronome on eighth notes, so it's beating eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. That's how fast we're going to, or how slow we're going to go. But I'll give us 4 quarter note counts to come in. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1. And 4 and. and 2 and 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 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and to the beginning. And 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and to the last line. 1 and 2 and hold and 2 and 3 and 4 and